So this is the stuff I really feel confident with. But before we get started, before we get you rolling, I would like some of you, all of you, received an outline. And it should look very unusual because there should be some blank spaces. I'm going to do something crazy today. I'm going to actually try to model some strategies and techniques while I speak. So direction number one is, in an effort to maintain your attention and to help you with note-taking, I've provided you with my notes, but I've left out key words. And what I want you to do is to listen very carefully to what I say, and when you hear me give you an answer that fills in a blank, I want you to fill it in. For example, here's the dry run. The title of my presentation is Different Learning, Different Teaching. Get it? Do you see where we're going with this? Okay, so I'll be doing this throughout the presentation, and so watch for those key words because by the end of the presentation, this is a two-sided handout, hopefully you will have all the blanks filled in. Number two, some of you received a card with a name on it. And at this point, I'm going to ask my tech crew and Houston up there to kick over to the wireless because I have a tendency to roam a bit. What I would like for you to do is, if you received a card with a name on it, I would like for you to stand up. I would like for you to say, "My name is," and read the name that's on the card. That's all you have to do, all right? So we will start in the very front row, and we will just work sequentially back. And we have to do this very quick because I know we're going to run out of time and it's going to be tragic. So we'll start right here. And I am?
My name is Beethoven.
Beethoven.
I am Stephen Hawking.
Tom Cruise, only bigger.
Only bigger.
Harriet Tubman.
Tommy Hilfiger.
I am Cher.
That gets an applause.
I am Tony Bennett. I am Patrick Dempsey. My name is Aaron Brockovich.
Henry Winkler.
We'll go back here.
I am Alexander Graham Bell. I am Hans Christian Andersen. I am Stephen Spielberg.
I am Milton.
I am Jackie Stewart.
I am Orlando Bloom. I am Jay Leno. I am George Washington. I am Vince Vaughn.
I am Louis Pasteur.
I am Bob Dole.
I am Bruce Jenner.
I'm Dr. Jack Horner.
I'm John Irving.
I am Fanny Flagg.
Danny Glover.
I am Princess Beatrice. I am Greg Louganis. I am Ty Pennington.
I am Jamie Oliver.
I am Nelson Rockefeller.
I am Suzanne Summers.
I am Harry Belafonte.
I am Paul Afolia.
I'm Woodrow Wilson.
Alexander the Great.
I'm Lizzie Wagner. I am Dexter Manley.
I am Ronald Reagan.
I'm General George Patton.
I am Avi.
Woody Harrelson.
Teddy Roosevelt.
I'm Terry Bradshaw. Whoopi Goldberg.
James Brace. Albert Einstein.
Franklin D. Roosevelt.
I'm Julia Caesar.
Patricia Lacko.
Goya.
Thomas Edison.
I am Leonardo da Vinci.
All right, thank you very much. Did we miss anyone? Oh, yes. And anyone over here? Okay, here's the first question. What do all of these people have in common? And those of you with your cards, I think on the back there's a descriptor of the type of disability that they possessed.
No.
No, not on yours?
do.
On some.
On some.
On some there are. I use these in a class that I teach. And each name that was read, there's some type of disability that they have worked with. There's a large majority of the folks in this stack of names that have learning disabilities, but I've also, over the years, added some physical disabilities, some hearing impairments, some visual impairments, to illustrate how many successful people we have. It's wonderful, and I love to celebrate and look at successful, well-known folks with disabilities. It's such a triumph, and they're great role models. The sad reality is that a lot of people, most people with disabilities, growing up with a disability, end up feeling somewhat invisible. They end up feeling not quite as popular. They don't receive the recognition. And especially folks, and we're going to talk a little bit about folks with invisible disabilities, really get lost in our system. So today I'm going to focus on academics, but I want you to keep in mind that there's another set of characteristics that we won't be covering today, and that has to do with self-esteem, confidence, self-perception, and social skills, and the way the folks interact with their environment. That's another set of issues that so many folks who are not famous as these folks are. But and I want you to begin to connect the dots. One of the things I'm going to do today, in addition to trying to model, is that I want you to begin to connect the dots when I speak to see how all of these folks, this whole issue of universal design, accessibility, learning styles. I'll tell you what, I have been in the field of special ed or dealing with folks with disabilities since 1981, and I train teachers at Aquinas, and here's what I believe. I'm beginning to, I don't want you to compromise, I don't want you to modify your standards nor your expectations. Do you know what I want you to do as teachers? I want you to teach really, really well. Because good teaching, excellent teaching, is a universally designed model of teaching. If you can teach really, really well, it will feel effortless in terms of meeting the needs of all of your learners. So how do you do that? Now, I've been nice and slow and easy, and I'm sure you're right with me, but there are 6 objectives that I have for today that I want you to dial into, and hopefully we'll get through all of them, because I'm going to crank up my speech in a couple minutes, and I'm going to start talking really fast. If it's a little bit too fast, I have a tendency to do that. Someone give me a sign, and I'll modify that. But here's what I want you to leave with today. I want you to be able to describe the differences between students with learning disabilities and students with different learning styles. There might be a blank in there that you want to fill in. Participants will be able to identify 3 different learning styles. Participants will be able to generate at least 1 teaching strategy for each learning style. Hopefully we'll get that far. Participants will be able to identify their own dominant learning style. Participants will be able to identify 3 ways to support students with learning disabilities. And participants will be able to describe 1 way that neurological development impacts learning. Now that's about a week-long in-service. So you know I'm going to be giving you some introductory. We're going to be going this far out and about this deep in the next 45 minutes. I will also, on your handout, there are some resources that you can explore for further learning I'll be happy to supply you with additional resources if you need them. So across the middle of your paper, what does it say? What, why, how, what, why, how, what, why, how, what, why, how. Today, I want you to think about, because I'm going to give you a lot of information in a short amount of time, I want you to think about it as what is happening in your classroom, why is it happening, and how do you respond? So if you remember nothing else, just think of what, why, how. When you enter your classroom next week, think about, keep those 3 words in the back of your mind. What am I teaching? And you know that very well. But how am I teaching it? And why am I teaching it? And then how do I teach it so that everybody benefits? And it's that, you know, how do I do that it seems to be the big challenge, because you know what you're teaching and you even probably know why you're teaching. But today I want to talk about what, why, how in terms of what do students look like who aren't learning in a traditional manner, why does that occur, and how can we help them? So everything I do today will be packaged in the what, why, how framework. Does that make sense? Yes. I also will tell you this. I know right now I'm not going to have a lot of time left over for questions. So if you need clarification throughout the presentation, very informal, very open dialogue. I like to engage with the audience, so please feel free to ask those questions. Number two, there's only one thing I can't do today that I really embrace as a principal when I teach, and I think I want you to consider this, but I call it formative assessment. Some of you probably know what that means really well. When I sat down to prepare this presentation, I had no idea what to prepare because I didn't know where your knowledge bases were. I didn't know what you already knew and what you didn't know. And if you were in a class of mine, I would spend the first class session just finding out what you know. Because from there, and that's sort of the special ed model, we take you from where you are, and then we push you like crazy to get you to be where we want you to be. But I have no idea where you are, so I'm not able to engage in that formative assessment piece right now. So I'll have to apologize in advance if I talk too high or if I talk too low. Because we just don't have time in this particular venue to engage in that formative assessment. But I will encourage you to please consider doing that so that you know who your audience is when you begin teaching next week. Does that make sense? All right, so we'll first talk about learning disabilities, and then we'll talk about learning styles. So here's the quick definition of a learning disability, and I think I just want to review it real quickly, even though many of you already know what it is because it seems to be the most predominant disability within a college campus. But I think a lot of people will group all disabilities underneath the LD label, and it's really important if you are reading a psychological report, or if you have a student that has a diagnosed learning disability, that it's a very specific disability. It's not an umbrella for a bunch of different disabilities, okay? So a learning disability in the state of Michigan is one of 13 identifiable disabilities. Most of the names, most of you, the cards that you read, are folks with learning disabilities characterized by number one, and this is something that Ms. Bowen made reference to, folks with learning disabilities, diagnosed specific learning disabilities, have average to above average intellectual quotients, otherwise known as IQ. Average to above with 100, I mean, you know, these numbers are not etched in stone, but around 100. And what I have found is that students who pursue higher education have a tendency, they've got that silver lining of a high IQ. So they're very, very bright. They have a huge potential for learning, but for some reason their neurological wiring does not allow them to achieve at a level that's commensurate with their IQ. So here's their high IQ, and I always laugh when I train teachers, especially when they are working with middle schoolers or high schoolers. It's very possible to teach a high school student or a college student who's going to have an IQ higher than yours. It could be a student with a disability whose IQ may be way up here, but they only produce work at that level. And that's really the second group of characteristics that you'll see on your paper, that there's a discrepancy between their aptitude or their IQ and their achievement. And that's the achievement where they need accommodations and additional support. That part I think you probably know, right? Okay, but it's important to not clump all disabilities under that LD label. The other piece is that with a true specific learning disability, it has a neurological basis. And I'll talk more specifically about that in just a minute. There are several different types of specific learning disabilities. I think the most common that you will see is going to be students who have some type of dyslexia. Dyslexia meaning, if we take the word apart, dys, the prefix dys means what? Yeah? Difficulties, right? DYS, the prefix dys. And lexia refers to, do we have any? Words, right. So difficulty with words. True dyslexia is neurologically based, and it really, we begin to see it as early as preschool when students have sound-symbol relationship problems. Those are the red flags. They have a difficult time rhyming. They have a difficult time knowing that T says T, and remembering that. And that's the true clinical dyslexia. But some students have problems comprehending, and they don't have decoding problems. And that's more of a language-based problem, but it still falls under the dyslexic category. And I've never met a dyslexic who can't read anything. I've met really, really severe, bright dyslexics, but I've never met anyone who was considered a non-reader. So what we're just really looking at are students whose reading levels aren't commensurate with their IQ. Make sense? All right. The other type of disability that you will see is dysgraphia. Dys meaning what? Difficulties, right? Graphia meaning referring to what? The base word graphic refers to? Writing, right. So difficulties with writing. So we have students who may be able to read, think, speak really well, but for some reason when it comes to taking the words from their brain, running down through the neurons to their hand, and putting it on paper or down through their body, through their hands, motor-wise, to the computer, they just can't put the words together and express what they mean in a written way. And again, we find ways to accommodate students who have those difficult, those challenges. And then the last type of set of disabilities, and this is gaining more and more recognition, are students with dyscalculia. And that is dys, meaning difficulty with numbers, yeah, calculus. And these students are really easy to miss because they read, write, think, speak pretty well, but when it comes to math, there's a breakdown. And it's just like dyslexia, and it's a different neurological wiring that makes math and numbers very, very difficult. And I thought it was important to go through those areas. You have over 650 identified students who receive DSS services. That's pretty significant. Most of those students probably will have some sort of reading language disability, but you will also find those students who have the math problems, the writing problems, and students who are not diagnosed who have those characteristics. They're all going to be in your classroom. And I tell this to K-12 teachers as well. When I first started teaching special education, it was in the early 80s when we had self-contained rooms. So we took all those kids with disabilities and pulled them out of general ed and put them in my classroom. And most recently now it's the inclusion movement, and we're seeing this now in higher ed where those students are being taken away. You know, those pull-out programs are now push-in programs where they're staying in the general education programs, and special ed teachers are going into the general ed environment, helping them to remediate as well as accommodate their special needs. I'm going to move really quickly through the neurological piece because I really want to get to the learning styles portion of this, but I really wanted to talk a little bit about the neurological involvement because most of these disabilities, the invisible ones, have a neurological basis. It's really easy to forget. And I always tell teachers, the students who I feel the most sorry for, quite frankly, with invisible disabilities, are the ones who are good-looking, articulate, and well-dressed. Because then you forget even more. And I know sometimes teachers even will look at students like that and just say, well, they're just spoiled. You know, if they drive a nice car and they come from money, then of course they're just spoiled. Right? And they're just not trying because everything's handed to them. It's really easy to judge those students when you can't see what's going on neurologically. But let me share with you, and I know just enough of this to make me really dangerous, but it's the research, the neurological research that's going on where they're actually dissecting dyslexic brains is fascinating. One piece that I think that it's really important to think about is that it's been found in the dyslexic brain. You know, typically there's asymmetry in your hemispheres. So here's your right hemisphere, here's your left hemisphere, and depending on your dominant side, one hemisphere is going to be larger. And that's normal in a traditional brain, I guess you would call it. What they're finding in the dyslexic brain is that they're finding that there's brain symmetry. That both hemispheres are the same side, which means when the information goes into the corpus callosum, right, and the corpus callosum tries to figure out where do I send it, into which chamber, and where is it being processed, that's where some difficulties occur because it's not being pulled to the strong area. I have another piece that I won't get into today, but whenever anybody talks about left brain, right brain learning, it's like nails on a chalkboard, because if you know, again, I know enough just to make me dangerous, but you know, when you look at how complicated the brain is, you realize that there's not only left brain and right brain functions, but there's frontal lobe, there are quadrants that have specific functions, and it's such an oversimplification to say, well, that student's a right brain learner, so I'm going to be much more creative. I think that's great, and I think you're on the right track, but it's really sort of short-sighted. So just keep in mind that the brain is really complex, and it becomes super complex when there's an alternative wiring system, which is probably evolutionary, by the way. It's not a damaged goods. They're not damaged. It's not like the kid sustained some sort of brain trauma or ineffective development. There are cases where there are students who have had some developmental issues, but in your good old dyslexic brain, your typical dyslexic brain, there seems to be evidence that the brain evolution has always embraced this alternative wiring. So it's not like, and I know that there are some autoimmune issues, and I know that there are environmental factors that are leading to a spike in some of the disabilities, but your good old true clinical dyslexic brain is evolutionary in nature. Yes, sir?
Would you mind saying what you just said about spike in learning disabilities? There was a sentence that you just used.
Yep, the spike in the diagnosis.
Yes.
Talk
about that.
I don't know. I mean, I can put autism under this category. I don't know if we're seeing an increase in the incidence, if we're seeing an increase in the diagnosis, or if it's all of the above because of the awareness and because of universal design and inclusion. I don't know.
And nobody really does know.
No. No. And you know, you would think that there's this huge spike in autism because we're hearing about it every day. And then when you look at the statistics, it's really only 2%. And boy, you'd think that, boy, you know, we've had this huge explosion and there's something going on. But I think it's the increased media attention. I think technology. So I'm not sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The functional MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, is really interesting. Ken Pugh at Yale at the Haskins Laboratory has been studying ADHD brains, and they're looking at blood flow. And I wish I had those slides because they're fascinating. But what he's finding are the areas of the brain that are lighting up and not lighting up, like a traditional brain. And what they're finding, and you may see this within your students, that some of your students with disabilities seem to get sleepy, and they might sleep in class after an intense reading exercise. And what he found is that that's biological, that dyslexics do become sleepy because there's so much more blood that's being required to go into that, to activate that language area, that dyslexics, and it used to drive me crazy when middle schoolers or high schoolers would always want to put their heads down on their desk and their eyes would get red and watery. And you know me, I thought, oh, they stayed up too late, they're partying, they're, you know, whatever they do. And there really is a physiological reason for that exhaustion because language processing requires so much more work, they physically become exhausted. And so again, if you're interested in looking at that, I would go to Google Ken Pugh, P-U-G-H, at the Haskins Laboratory, and you can see his work, and it's really, really, he and a lot of others are doing some of that work. There's also some work that Albert Galaberta did. He's out of Harvard, and he works at, he did his research at Beth Israel Hospital, where he continued the work of Geschwin looking at cell migration. And again, without going into great depth, but this is really fascinating. You know, the brain, when it develops in layers. I mean, if you were to take a cross-section of the brain, you would see these layers. And each layer has very specific, the cells in each layer have a very specific function. And what he found in the dyslexic brain, when studying the New Zealand black mouse, of all things, what he found is that those cells were not staying in their nice, neat layers, that these cells were migrating into other layers. And he found this exclusively with the dyslexic brain. Now, again, I share with you this thumbnail of information to illustrate the huge body of research that's taking place with looking at the brain to really pinpoint the anatomical differences among students with disabilities. Yes, sir?
Could you give us
Ken Pugh, you mean the Yale? Yep. If you go into the Yale, you just plug in his name, P-U-G-H, and he'll pop up. He's with the Haskins Laboratory. Galaberta, I haven't heard him speak in years, but he's out of Harvard, he teaches at Harvard, and he did his research at Beth Israel Hospital. And if you look up, if you just Google Albert Galaberta, G-A-L-A-B-U-R-D-A, millions of articles will come up. It's fascinating stuff for what it's worth. But it does help you remember that these are not choices that the students are making. There's a real neurological connection. There's a neurological reason for that difference. Make sense? How are we doing? All right, let's keep rolling. Let's talk about learning styles, which I'm sure you've heard a ton about because it's a very hot topic. The first thing that you have to do, here's tip number one. The first thing, if you haven't done so, you need to identify your learning style, number one, before you do anything. And why am I telling you to do this? Why am I telling you that you need to identify your learning style?
Because you tend to teach.
You will teach the way you learn. Actually, I'm a very visual learner. You'd think that I would do all this PowerPoint stuff, but the handout and this visual, I always like a whiteboard because I teach in a pretty visual way. Once you discover your learning style, the challenge becomes what?
To teach in your lowest style.
To teach in the way that you don't learn. Now, that's not easy. And, you know, we both know there are going to be people, when they speak, when they teach, that will, you know, maintain the whole sage behind the stage approach. And, you know, it was funny. They put me in a classroom that was similar to this. I teach one class, and I'm used to being in this real high-tech classroom that has tables, and it's, you know, Steelcase had done research on learning, and it's really, really cool. Well, they, for some reason, didn't put me in that classroom this semester, and they put me in a room like this, and I had 21 students. And I'm standing there, and I said, I'm frozen. I don't know what to do with you all, because it's really difficult for me to teach in this venue, because what I really like to do is to get down. I think it helps me connect with students when I am with you and we are learning together, because it assists me in that formative assessment piece that I started with. But you have to discover your own learning style. And because we're limited on time today, I was going to have you fill out a learning style inventory, but I knew that we wouldn't have time to get through everything. But I did put on your handout, if you look down to where it says identification of your own learning style, number 4, if you go to www.ncsu.edu, in the search box, type in learning style inventory, up pops a learning inventory that takes you about 10 minutes to take. It scores it right then and there and gives you your results. I mean, it's really kind of fun. And go ahead and take that, because that will at least get you thinking about your learning style and some of the issues that you're going to have to address in your own learning, teaching experiences. But before we talk specifically about that and the strategies, let's go back up and talk about the consequences. And I know that you know this, but just tell me what you know. What happens when there's a mismatch between a professor and a student, a learning style mismatch? What happens?
You get bad evaluations.
Okay. You know what? I appreciate you saying that.
Yep.
Yeah, because those evaluations seem to be one of the sole pieces of evidence we have in terms of feedback. You don't get feedback from the building principal, right? You don't get feedback from anybody. The only person, and then, you know, what we hear, and you guys have probably had similar discussions, if you get poor evaluations, people who get poor evaluations will say, well, it's because I push them, right? And they don't like my grade, I'm tough. And if they get good evaluations, it's because they're too easy on their students, or that person gives them all A's. Or the research shows, in terms of student evaluations, the research shows that people who, good teachers, if they have 25 positive glowing student evaluations and 1 negative, which one do they focus on? The one negative. You drive home going, oh my gosh, I blew it this semester. What did I, oh my gosh, oh that's horrible. I feel, disorganized. She gets off topic. I get that quite a bit. She gets off topic. I said, you know what? We call those teachable moments in the biz, And if there's a teachable moment and I'm using formative assessment, and this is when you have to learn to be really explicit, right? And I'm using formative assessment, if you say something that I know I've got to go down that road because you don't have that in your knowledge base, I have to do it even though it's not on my agenda. I have to do it because I'm a responsible teacher. Ineffective teachers will have 25 poor evaluations and 1 glowing, and which one do they focus on when they drive home? I was like, well, I'm not that bad. They kind of, So I think that we have to take student evaluations, and I'm a teacher trainer, grain of salt. And that's why know thyself, and that's what I always tell the students, know thyself, so that you know when to dismiss a student evaluation, you know when to embrace a student evaluation. It's one data set, it's one set of data about you, and you've got all these other indicators. You can't just rely on those. Although when you begin to see patterns, I'd pay attention to it, right? I'd pay attention to the same themes come up. Evaluation after evaluation, semester after semester, yeah, I'd take that feedback and say, maybe there's something to this, right? But I think that it's just one view of you. And as a teacher, we need to look at teachers in the 360, especially when it comes to students with disabilities and when we look at learning styles. So far, so good? Now, is this stuff that you already know? Kinda? Is it sort of new? Okay, good, good, good. Well, let's look at then the models for learning styles, because what I really want to get to, I'm not going to talk in depth about the Myers-Briggs. I know most of you have taken that. Cole's experiential learning model, the Felder-Silverman model, and the index of learning styles, which is the one that you're going to take online when you get back to your office. But you are probably familiar with elements from all of these. And the research on learning styles is really, it's all over the place, right? Because some people say it's kind of bunk, some people think they've got it, some people think they don't. Here's what I want you. I want you to remember what I learned in my undergraduate training in terms of learning styles. And it's on your sheet, VAKT. And that's really all you have to remember. Anybody have any idea what VAKT stands for? I bet those are the educators in the house, right? V stands for visual learners. A stands for K stands for, and T stands for tactile. Yeah, good, good. By manipulating with their hands, touching, feeling, that sort of learning. If you can include VAKT in every one of your lessons, you're doing pretty well. I mean, listen, this teaching business, it's not as easy as it looks, right? Right? And you can stand up and you can use, you can lecture and the students can take notes and you can give the midterm, you can give the final. And I'm not sure that's teaching, but it's one way to approach education. But in the demands that are being made, especially of you at the community college level and the students that you're receiving, and the ADA rules and regulations, 504, Title II, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get away with doing that much longer. The research on students coming into colleges, they have a whole different set of expectations of us as teachers than, let's say, we did of our professors. We were pretty, right? We were kind of compliant. We were in school. We just went in, sat down, shut up, listen, take notes, take the test, right? Study with your small groups. If you thought, oh, this is tough, I better get together with a group, you sort of did that on your own. And we weren't, when I was in college, again, a couple years ago, the whole ADA compliance piece wasn't huge. Universal design, that wasn't even a term that was used. But times have really changed. So while we're looking at technological demands and expectations students have of us, we also have teaching demands that students are making on us that are unlike they've ever made before. And so I think we're going to have to open up our brains and say, if I can just go VAKT, I'm going to be doing better than I did last week. So, does your lesson have a visual component? Does your lesson, and yeah, that's easy, we can do that. Notes, PowerPoint, slides, right? You can do that. So finding a visual way to supplement your lesson, not too difficult. We all use the whiteboard, and then some of the science people at Aquinas still use the chalkboard. They like the chalkboard. Auditory, pretty easy, right? We talk. I mean, most people who go into teaching, education, we talk for a living, so you like to talk. So the auditory component, pretty easy, right? So visual auditory, you can probably do that with very little effort. It is the kinesthetic and the tactile, and that is really what makes a difference. So what could we do right now to take what I'm doing, which is auditory, and a teeny bit of visual? What could I do right now to add a kinesthetic component to what I'm doing? Pardon me? Get you to move around? Absolutely. So the exercise that I opened with, when you had to stand up, was kinesthetic. What I typically do when I teach a 4-hour class at night from 6 until 10, and I'm working with folks who have been working all day and they're a little sleepy, I save an exercise like this until about 9 o'clock. Because that's when they're dozing off and they strap on the drool cups, right? I mean, they're so sleepy. And I think, man, if I'm boring myself, I can't imagine what it's like to be out there after working all day and raising kids and coming to class. I can't imagine how painful that must be. So I save the kinesthetic or the movement until later in the evening. But one thing we could do right now, watch what happens when you do this. And this is just a silly little quick example. But watch what happens. Just stand up. Okay, now sit down. All right, have a seat. Okay, now, seriously, do you feel a difference physiologically? Do you feel a little difference? Just that little bit of movement, just to get there's something to be said for movement, that we're not as passive learners as we think. When we're up here lecturing, I get to move around. You see me, I'm moving, right? And so I have no idea, but when I sit there, when I'm in your spot, especially if the lights go down and the PowerPoint comes up, you know what I do? Even at 1 in the afternoon after 3 Diet Cokes, you know what I do? I get a little sleepy. It's brutal. I have a hard time keeping my eyes open, and I'm thinking, man, can you imagine if I knew that I had a midterm coming up or a final and I was that sleepy? Again, those are things that you, the conductor of the symphony, are responsible for, is your audience. So you've got to keep them moving. When I give students the learning, I have a couple different learning style inventories because I try to show them that different inventories measure different things. One of the things that we always find in 100% of my classes is that most of my students rank high on kinesthetic learning. That means they need to move to learn. How many of you walk, in the evenings or in the morning, or you go to the gym? How many of you have found this? And maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I'll find that I'll have a problem all day that I'm chewing on. And I'm trying to figure it out. I'll go home, I'll get in my garden, and I'll start hauling weeds and big piles of junk and raking and moving and cow manure. And guess what happens when I start moving? All of a sudden I'll think, oh man, there's that problem. I get solutions all the time. Or I get on the treadmill and the answers start flying through my brain. I thought, oh, I'm kinesthetic. I had no idea I was such a kinesthetic. But then when I watch myself teach, I watch myself move and I watch my body, I think, well, look at that body. I'm moving all the time. And your students will need to move in order to think as well. Tactile. How could we make this presentation tactile? What could I have you do, or what would you have your audience or your students do to make it a tactile experience? Yes?
Just what we're doing.
Just what you're doing, right? Filling in the blank. Not only is that a tactile experience, but also if you have a tendency to maybe have some attentional issues, some people might call it ADD, and that's another one that I would love to get into, but there's no time because I have so many wonderful opinions, biases. that you'd love to hear. But if you have a hard time with sustained attention, this tactile activity will help you focus your attention when you start to drift off and start thinking, because some of you are already thinking about, yeah, I've heard this, and then when I get home, I gotta get some milk and a loaf of bread, and I'm gonna have to go to Myers. You're doing that in your head right now, right? So you're listening to me, and then you're also thinking about what you're gonna later on today, and what time is it, and oh, she's almost out of time, right? This will continue to bring you back to the stimulus, which is where I want you. And I have to set up this environment so that despite all that's going on inside you, despite all of that, I'm going to teach you something before you walk out this door. Make sense? So one way is just writing. If your students can't write because they can't watch the signer and write at the same time, how can you make it a tactile experience? In addition to writing, what else could you do to make learning a tactile experience? Absolutely. Yeah.
Concepts of meter, 3, 4, 2, 4, whatever, and listening to music and having them actually move their bodies as they're listening.
I love you would think that maybe we planned this, but one of the analogies that I use for good teaching is this, that you are the conductor, and your class is the symphony, and that you are constantly raising them, lowering them, bringing them together, breaking them apart, making them louder, making them softer, right? You are in charge of conducting that whole classroom, and that you have a responsibility to not meet everybody's needs, because there's a student learning responsibility on the other side of the equation, right? But you've got to do everything within your power to VAKT. You've got to VAKT, right? Let's review it one more time. V is A. And that's called rehearsal. You can do that with your students. It's also called overteaching, because if you were having an ADD moment and you didn't catch it the first time, you caught it maybe the third or fourth time that I said it. You're probably also observing that I'm very redundant in my speaking. I repeat myself a lot. Why do I do that? And I do it intentionally, but why do I do that?
You have to repeat it 6 times before they get it.
You need to say, just because you said it once doesn't mean that they have it. And I know I've been in environments where, it's like they'll say it, and I'll think, whoa, go back. And of course, I'm too shy to raise my hand and say, what did you say? So I always assume that you're having an ADD moment, and that if you didn't catch it the first time, you might catch it the third time or maybe the fourth time, right? So don't forget what, why, how, and don't forget VAKT. And don't forget to take that learning styles inventory. Let's go down to strategies. If you go to that NCSU website, there are strategies for different learning styles. For some deeper learning, go in there and look at those. Again, we don't have time to go through all the strategies or different ways to meet the needs, but they have some great suggestions because you are the conductor. I also, and I'm going to jump to the very end of my sheet, the other analogy that I use that I will say, and the question that I will ask teachers in training is, are you a cook or are you a chef? And this kind of fits for GRCC because of your culinary arts program. But are teachers cooks or chefs? I mean, what's the right answer? Chef. And why is chef the right answer? Huh? They're professional? I love that. They're professional. What's another reason that teachers are chefs, not cooks?
They're creators.
Because they're creators. Yes. Anybody can follow a recipe. Don't get me started on the scripts that teachers have to read in some of our local schools these days, and where they actually give you a script. But it's easy to follow a recipe. It's foolproof. You follow it right down sequentially. But to be a chef, you have to do what? A pinch of this, a dab of that, a little bit more of this. You smell it. That's your formative assessment, right? How many of you, when you're cooking, you put your head down there and you smell what's going on in there? Or you smell that pan and you think, no, it needs a little more vinegar, right? You're using all of your senses. You're VAKTing your recipe because and once you know a dish, you know how to cook a dish, then you say, you know what, this time I'm going to give it a little twist. I'm going to throw in a little bit more of that this time. Let's see what happens. Because you are a chef. And that's what it's like to teach in your classroom, where you're going to shake it up, you're going to modify, and you're going to look not at the students who are learning through osmosis, but who are the students that you need to always be tuning into? Which ones? Huh? Yeah, and you might not know. I always first, you know what I do, because I don't know. Always, formative assessment takes a while. I don't know who's having it. Sometimes those really quiet students are catching it like this, right? And then they stand up and think, man, I didn't think you caught a word I said, but listen to you. But I usually will dial into the quiet ones first, right? Because I don't know what they know and don't know. The ones who are participating, yep, I got their number. I know that they've got it, and I love them. I love them. I love them. But I'm most concerned with the ones that sit in the very, very back, not you, but students who sit in the very, very back and the students who won't have eye contact. Those are the ones I look for the soft signs. And then I say, okay, something's going on there. Let's see if I can dig and see what's going on. Because I need to, if I can teach to the students who are having the biggest difficulties, then everybody else, it's all cake. They learn no matter what. That's what working with students with, I don't care if it's a disability, a diagnosed, a non-diagnosed, if you engage in universal teaching, VAKT, and you pay attention to multiple intelligence. If you haven't read Howard Gardner's Multiple Intelligences, not a bad read. He builds a pretty strong case for everybody being gifted in different ways. I think he's up to 9 different intelligences. When I asked you the question about the consequences of a mismatched professor and student, there's a great research that was done with engineering students and learning styles of engineering students. And what they're finding is that the professors were, kids aren't going into engineering, and then the math skills are so bad. And what they're finding is that the students aren't more stupid than they used to be, but they just have different learning needs. And once the professors found that if they started addressing different learning needs, like intuitive and sensing, all of what you'll see on that sheet, once they found that they were mixing up their teaching with a little bit of interpersonal work where you work in small groups, a little intrapersonal work where you work by yourself, right? How many of you groan when you think, okay, break into small groups, right? How many of you go, oh, I hate that, right? Some people don't like it, but if you do a little bit of that, and then some people like to work by themselves, you people probably like to work by yourself. And then you know that your grade's going to be based on the group performance, and you hate that, right? So then you stay away from that in your classroom, but what you'll find is that you need to do a little bit of all of it. Gardner talks about interpersonal learners and intrapersonal learners. Some people learn better when they're in groups, some people learn better by themselves, some people learn better one-on-one. But you have to be aware because you can't meet all those needs all the time. You simply can't, but you've got to add those elements so that you hit the students a bit here, a bit there, and not simply teach to your linguistic learners, which is what we all typically do, right? We teach the way we learn, or we teach the way we were taught. Our favorite teachers taught, right? You go back to your favorite teachers and you teach the way they taught. And you've got to break out of that mold. You've got to push yourself to go into those areas that are a little bit risky, okay? So what have we missed? I think we're almost out of time. Where's my lovely timekeeper? Oh, man, he's snoozing. I didn't tell him that he had to give me, how much time do we have? So I've got 30 seconds. All right, here we go. Universal design. Get out of your comfort zone. I wasn't even following. Did you fill in all your blanks? Embrace the technological revolution. It's a good time to be dyslexic with all the technology. It's a good time to have a disability with all the technology. Make sure you are aware of what the technology can do. Even if you don't master it, make sure you know people who understand adaptive technology. It's a good time to have seriously, the technology that's out there is phenomenal. Online courses, you have to be careful. And that's tricky to embrace universal design with online courses, and I know people are doing it more and more, but there are lots of resources that can assist you. There are good online courses and not so good online course development, and you need to make sure you're real responsible and make sure you know the research. And then I'm going to end with this, my favorite, and I thought for the theorist in you, and those of you who love theory, if you're not familiar with Lev Vygotsky, how many of you are familiar with Lev Vygotsky, a Russian psychologist? Just take a peek. Again, I love, Google Lev Vygotsky. The spelling is on your sheet. He talks, his work is relatively new, like maybe 60s, They began to translate his work from Russian to English. And you know, Lev Vygotsky is a little bit different than Piaget. Piaget, as some of you know, said that development precedes learning, right? That kids go through all these developmental, where's my early childhood people? Okay, you know this stuff, right? That the child develops, they hit these milestones, and then the learning follows, right? And that, you know, sometimes they're behind and they need time to mature, blah, 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 blah. We've known that forever. Vygotsky said, not so sure. I'm not sure. I believe. I'm not sure I'm with Piaget on that. Vygotsky says he believes that learning precedes development. And he talks about, and this is such good stuff, and this is like the nerd in me coming out, but he talks about this zone of proximal learning. And it's that point where you teach, I call it the visual, again, as a visual person, think of it like this, like here's my aptitude, right? Vygotsky says what you want to do is teach right here, just a little bit above my knowledge base. Because he said if you teach at that level right there, it's going to pull my development, and I'm going to reach to that. If you teach too high, what happens to the student? Shut down. You teach too low, what happens to the student? You lose them either way, either end. And so formative assessment, which I started with, formative assessment hits that zone, which is going to allow, I don't care if they're a 3-year-old or a 33-year-old or a 63-year-old, if you can teach to that zone through formative assessment and constructing the learning, people are going to grow whether they want to or not. He maintains, and this will be my last message, that learning is a social process. And that's why, you know, if you design an online course, keep that in mind. Learning is a social process. We are social beings, and that you have to construct lessons that are social in nature. So, I mean, look at it. I mean, it's not that hard. You've got VAKT. You got a little bit of knowledge about little knowledge about neurological wiring, and you know, if you can just keep in mind that people learn best when they're socially interacting. I mean, what's wrong with that? You're closer to being an excellent teacher than you've ever been, right? So I don't think it's as overwhelming. I think the biggest challenge beyond VAKT and Vygotsky and all that stuff is looking yourself in the mirror and figuring out what motivates you to teach the way you do and figuring out what you need to do to get out of that zone. With that, Houston, we don't have any time for questions, do we? With that, we will end. Thank you. Now, yeah, those are not parting gifts. I need the cards back. I'll use them again this afternoon. Are there any blanks on your sheet that you didn't fill in that you would like the answer to? You got them all?